Mark Twain, 1835–1910. Early life and family. Mark Twain, born as Samuel Langhorne Clemens, came into the world on November 30th, 1835, in Florida, Missouri. He was the sixth child in a family of 7, but only 3 of the children survived into adulthood. His father, John Marshall Clemens, was a judge and storekeeper, and his mother, Jane Lambton Clemens, loved to tell stories, which influenced young Samuel. When he was 4, his family moved to Hannibal, Missouri, a town by the Mississippi River. This small town, full of riverboats, traders, and adventurers, inspired many of Twain's later stories. Hannibal became the fictional town of St. Petersburg in his famous books. Education and early work. Samuel attended school in Hannibal, but when his father died in 1847, he left school at the age of 11 to help support his family. He worked as a printer's apprentice, where he learned about newspapers and writing. He worked as a typesetter for his brother's newspaper, the Hannibal Journal, and began writing small stories. These experiences shaped his love for words and storytelling. Samuel loved to listen to people's stories and observe life around him, skills he used in his future writing. Life on the Mississippi. As a young man, Samuel had a dream to work on the river. In 1857, he started training to become a riverboat pilot on the Mississippi River. After 2 years, he earned his license. He loved the freedom and excitement of life on the river, and it became a key theme in his stories. The term Mark Twain, which means 2 fathoms deep, a safe depth for riverboats, was used by river pilots. Samuel later adopted this term as his pen name in 1863. Unfortunately, the Civil War began in 1861, and river traffic stopped. Samuel had to leave his job as a riverboat pilot. The Call of the West. In 1861, Samuel joined his brother Orion on a trip west to Nevada. At first, he tried silver mining, but it was not successful. To make money, he became a journalist for the Virginia City Territorial Enterprise. Humor and unique style made him popular. In 1865, his story, The Celebrated Jumping Frog of Calaveras County, was published. It became famous across the United States and marked the beginning of his career as Mark Twain, the writer. Marriage and family. In 1870, Samuel married Olivia Langdon, the daughter of a wealthy family from New York. Olivia became his partner and editor, helping him improve his writing. He had 4 children: Langdon, Susie, Clara, and Jean. Sadly, only Clara survived into old age. The family lived in Hartford, Connecticut, where Twain wrote many of his most famous books. Literary success. Mark Twain became one of the most famous writers in America. His books were loved for their humor, adventure, and deep messages. The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, 1876. This book tells the story of a boy growing up along the Mississippi River. It is full of fun, mischief, and childhood adventures. Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, 1884. Often called the Great American Novel, this story follows Huck Finn and Jim, an escaped slave, as they travel down the river. It explores themes of freedom, friendship, and morality. Prince and the Pauper, 1881. A story about 2 boys, one a poor beggar and the other a prince, who switch lives. A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court, 1889. A humorous story about a 19th century man who travels back in time to medieval England. Twain's books combined entertainment with deep thoughts about society, freedom, and justice. Financial struggles and travels. Despite his success, Twain had financial problems. He lost much of his money on bad investments, especially in a new typesetting machine that failed. To pay his debts, he went on a lecture tour around the world. His lectures were very popular because of his wit and storytelling skills. During these travels, Twain visited Europe, India, Australia, and South Africa. He wrote about his experiences in following the equator, 1897, later years and personal loss. In his later years, Twain faced many personal tragedies. His wife, Olivia, passed away in 1904, and 3 of his children also died young. These losses brought him great sadness. However, Twain continued to write and speak. In 1909, he predicted his death, saying, "I came in with Halley's Comet in 1835. It is coming again next year, and I expect to go out with it." He passed away on April 21, 1910, one day after Halley's Comet appeared in the sky. Legacy and influence. Mark Twain is remembered as one of the greatest American writers. His stories, full of humor and wisdom, reflect the joys and challenges of life in 19th century America. He criticized social problems like racism and inequality, making his works meaningful even today. Twain's use of everyday language and his ability to create realistic, relatable characters changed American literature forever. His books are still read and loved around the world. Conclusion. Mark Twain once said, "The secret of getting ahead is getting started." His life, full of adventure, struggle, and creativity, inspires us to follow our dreams and share our stories with the world.